Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make a gravity ice-dyed mandala. The shirt's been prepped like normal and I have it turned inside out. I'm going to place this mandala on the corner of the shirt. So to begin, I'm taking the hem of the shirt and folding it up to the side of the shirt. Then I'm going to grab the hem of the shirt and fold it back down to that seam that was formed with the first fold. I'm going to pinch the seam, grab the shirt, lift it up off the table. When I do, it causes the shirt to fold down on the other side. Next, I'm going to make one more fold on either side of the shirt. So at this point, we've folded an 8-point mandala. And if you wanted to do a 16-point mandala, you would do an additional fold on either side of the shirt. I'm choosing to stop here though. To tie the definition lines in the mandala, I'm using sinew. The sinew that I'm using is an artificial wax-coated sinew, and I have a link down below in the description for where I purchased mine. Because of the wax coating, wherever I place a line of sinew and tighten it down until it locks down on itself, that is going to form a white line right there because it won't allow the dye to get under that line. From here, you can do whatever kind of design you'd like to do on your mandala. Based upon the way and the direction in which you tie your sinew, that's going to change the design in the shirt. I'm going to just do some random designs in my mandala, and I'm not going to take the designs up past the sleeve. So you can see the sleeve hanging out on the side of my shirt. I'm going to end my design before I get all the way up to that area. You can extend your design as far out as you want though. You're welcome to go ahead and extend your design beyond the sleeve of the mandala. That's a personal preference. Once I've tied the mandala portion of the shirt, I'm going to go ahead and allow the shirt to dry out completely. I feel like I get much better color saturation in the middle of my mandala when I apply the dye when it's completely dry. If you would like some more information about this topic, I have a blog post out on my website, and I have a link to my website down below this video in the description. For this design, I've chosen a variety of purple, blue, and dark red dye colors. For my gravity dye setup, I have a metal shelving unit which I've taken outside and placed underneath the trees. I've placed the shirt on the shelving unit, and I have one end of the shirt, the part that I'd like to gravity dye, hanging over the edge. I'm not going to push the shirt too far toward the edge, or it might tip over and fall off the shelving unit. To keep the ice on my shirt, I'm going to make myself an ice barrier using my silicone cake molds. I'm going to wrap them around my shirt, and then I'm going to hold them up close to the shirt using some wooden clothespins, which I'm going to attach to my metal shelf. I have a link for these too down below in the description for this video. I'm going to place a plastic wash pan on the shelf below my shirt to catch any of the runoff from the melting ice and dye. Then, because the shirt is completely dry, I'm going to lightly spray it with a soda ash solution, which I placed inside of a plastic spray bottle. This is going to help the dye stick to the top of the shirt a little bit better and not blow around outside in the wind. Where I live, it pretty much seems to be windy all the time. For the mandala portion of the shirt, I'm starting with Power Berry from Dharma Trading Company, followed by Plum from Dharma, Blue Suede from Happy Cat Tie Dye, Rose Wine from Pro Chemical and Dye, Imperial Purple from Dharma, Burgundy from Grateful Dyes, Blue Pervinka from Dye Spin, and then I'm going to end my last portion of the mandala with Power Berry from Dharma. For the gravity portion, I'm going to place some Ice Dye Blue from Dye Spin on the outside of the mandala. Then I'm going to place a light sprinkle of dry soda ash over the top of the dye and add on some ice. I've included some process photos so that you can see how the dye moved as the ice melted. After the first layer of ice melted, I came back and added a second layer of ice, but I still wasn't happy with the way the dye was moving down on the gravity dyed portion of the shirt. So I decided I would go ahead and move the shirt a little further up on the rack and add some more dye. I took the silicone cake molds off, but I went ahead and left the ice on the mandala portion of the shirt. I pulled the shirt a little further up on the rack. Then I added a little bit of Blue Pervinka from Dye Spin, which is the color that I used up in the mandala portion of the shirt. Then I added a little bit more dry soda ash to the top of the dye, and this time I added a large chunk of ice. I made this ice in one of the meal prep containers that you can purchase like at Walmart or another store, and I like these larger chunks of ice for gravity dye, partially because when it's really hot here, they melt a little bit slower, and it's easier to keep them on the shirt. I don't really need an ice barrier. I also moved the wash pan that was under the shirt one more shelf down because the sleeve was touching the dye down in the container. After this first chunk of ice melted, I actually came back and added a second chunk of ice. Then once that melted, I took the shirt and I placed it inside of a plastic tub or tote that has a metal rack down in the bottom to allow the dye to drain away from the shirt. Then I put the lid on the tote and took it inside and allowed it to process in a little warmer environment for about 24 hours. Then to rinse the shirt, I took it to my utility sink and I began rinsing it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. As you can see, I do have a few lighter areas, but for the most part, the dye went all the way down the shirt. After rinsing really well in cold water, I go ahead and warm the water up to hot to rinse out the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. I also untie the mandala portion of the shirt and then continue rinsing in the hot water. So at this point, I could continue rinsing until my water was running almost clear, but instead of rinsing for a really long time like that, I just like to soak my shirt. So what I do is I place the shirt inside of some really hot water, put a little bit of Blue Dawn dish detergent in the water, and then allow the shirt to soak. When the water cools off, I change it out and I continue that soaking process until my water is remaining almost clear. Then I'll put my shirt along with some Dharma's Professional Textile Detergent into my washing machine and I'll wash it using a hot water cycle. If you have any questions about the process that I use to rinse my shirts, or you want a little bit more information and maybe the science behind why I do what I do, I also have a blog post about that out on my website as well. So after the shirt has been washed and dried, I give it a quick iron and then this is what it looks like. Okay, so what do you guys think? I think this one looks pretty cool. I like all the colors together. I think the blues and dark reds and purples flow really well together. And I like the gravity dyed portion of the shirt as well. I like how the blues and purples kind of blend together. I do have a few lighter spots, but I don't mind them on this shirt. The dye flow around them is really pretty, and I think it just kind of incorporates those lighter areas into the design. But what do you guys think? Do you like this shirt? Do you think it turned out looking cool? Do you like the mandala on the corner? Please drop me some comments down below and let me know. And if you've enjoyed watching the video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it and if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll hit the bell, you'll receive a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.